All right, I guess we're live. Let's see here. Did this right. How's it going? Trying to get this chat thing going on. Just give me a second here. Pop chat out. All right. All right, let's do this. Beer in hand. Today we have a Wicked Weed. This is from Asheville, North Carolina. Pernicious. You see that? It is an IPA. So give it a quick pour. How's it going, Stephen? Actually went to this brewery in Asheville. I live outside of Knoxville. I went to this brewery, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years ago. They've got some really good beer, really good food as well. So if you're in the Asheville area, check out Wicked Weed. I think you'll enjoy it. But that's not what this is about. This is about Pentax, right? Pentax Talk. So today we're doing a review on this 16 to 50 millimeter f2.8 PLM, which I've had for a whole week now. So I've gotten to try it out a little bit, not as much as I would like, because what Hurricane Fred came straight up through my neighborhood. So it was raining quite a bit, but I did get to cheers. I did get to test out the weather resistance, of course. I took it around the neighborhood and in the rain with the K-3 Mark III. And as you know, there was no problems with that. The weather resistance on this is all Pentax stuff is great. Of course, you're out in the rain. What happens? The front element here fogs up a little bit, so you're having to wipe it off constantly. So that's why I really don't like going out in the rain shooting anyway. But it was fine. Nothing happened. The rain didn't do anything at all. So let's talk about it. I'm not going to post any pictures here because I'm on this. I'll do it that later. I'm going to have a video like the next day or two that's going to have some sample images straight out of camera, video, and I'll just probably put some music to it or whatnot, and it will just be straight out of camera, so you can check for yourself. I don't even think this is available yet. I forgot to look today, but the past couple of days it still has not been available on B&H. So I got lucky there at ordering it off the Rico site. As I showed before in the open boxing or whatever, it sticks out a little bit right here. And in that, I'm going to compare this. Vincent was asking me, like yesterday, I think it was. So now that I have the two to compare to, if you've watched my channel, this is my favorite lens. I've got the two to compare, and they're not the same. They're both like kit lenses. Basically not kit lenses, but standard lenses that you would use every day. So the 20 to 40 limited and the 16 to 50, which one would I keep? I'll go over that in a second. Things I was worried about with this lens is it's kind of heavy. So with it on the K3 Mark III, I was using the K70 a lot before. So the K70 was lighter than the K3. I was concerned if I did one of my normal walks, is this going to be like too heavy for me? After a couple of miles walking around with this on my side, and I didn't find that. It was very comfortable. I didn't have any problems with that. I think the weight on this it's not overweighted that makes it similar. Autofocus plus fast aperture making it worth it. Yeah, I'll go over that in a second. The images that I took, I tried to do mostly f2.8 because the original one, I can't remember what, it's been so long since I had it, but it was either at 16 or 50. I think it was at 50. It was a little bit soft, I thought, and I didn't do any technical like tests with it, but I've been using it mostly at f2.8, and I have not found it to be soft. So the previous one, it was a little soft at f2.8, but it was usable. But this, I think it's sharp throughout, just like this 20 to 40. So I mean, look at the size difference. Look at that. It's kind of hard. So I really love this wide zoom here. That's the cool thing about the 20 to 40 here. This is turning into a 20 to 40 versus this one. It's got that old school kind of Tacumar kind of feel to it. But this one has that wide thing, and it also has your manual focus is nice too. I hate some of the other Pentax lenses that just have a little tiny manual focus. It's like, okay, some people use manual focus sometimes. You gotta put a bigger ring on there. So I also thought in my previous video, I was so surprised. Oh, I guess I can show you this. So I was so surprised when the what we got going on here. Okay, I was so surprised on the close focusing distance. It seems really close. Why is that? When I looked it up, and I was like, wow, this is super close. I mean, you have to notice it's by this line. Where is it on this one? This little line, if you can see that, that is where, when you look at specs and stuff, it will say it's got a foot or 12 inches of close focusing distance. So it's from this line to the end of it. But I thought this one was super, super even closer, because I'm sitting here holding my hand to the front of the lens, and it's kind of hard to get that fact out. So this is just under a foot of close focusing distance. And I was able to get a really cool picture of a dragonfly just right up on it. And that's the other thing, the zoom on here. I know I've got the beep on, I'm just kind of showing you, but slow there. But it is completely silent. The silent deadly motor. It wasn't completely silent. This is completely silent. I mean, it's kind of amazing that way. So I was talking about the close focusing distance. This lens has a better close focusing distance. It's just like by an inch or two. But I was surprised on this one, thinking, but when I actually looked at the specs, I looked at them and I was like, okay, this is the same, but this one goes out to 50 instead of 40. So f2.8 is awesome throughout. This hood is ginormous. Another thing, when I was using this lens, I had some flare with the hood on. I had some flare in the viewfinder. I was like, oh, there's going to be some flare in here when I look at the picture. Took the picture, no flare in the image. Whatever coating they've got on here is doing a stellar job. I have not seen any purple fringing or anything like that with this lens. Very happy thus far. Like I've only had a week, but people wonder is it worth the money? I mean, if it's in your budget, I would say yes. I haven't decided yet. I mean, this lens is $500. This lens $1,400. Is this lens that much better than this? To almost 3 times as much? No, not at all. The thing about the 20 to 40, I always ended up bringing a wide angle. So at that 20 millimeters, for some of the landscapes I was doing, it wasn't wide enough. You're saying 16, 20, that's only 4 millimeters difference, but it is a huge difference, actually, if you look at them side by side. So the equivalent, you could do the equivalent. So the full frame equivalent, 20 millimeters would be on full frame camera if you did the conversion or whatever. If this was on a full frame camera in full frame mode, it would be a 30 millimeter. So it's wide, but it's not like a wide angle. 16, would be like a 24 millimeter. So it's going to be quite a bit wider. So I found the shots that I've shot at 16 millimeter kind of blew me away. I was very intrigued by those. So, so if I brought this with me, I would end up bringing like the Sigma 10 to 20, so I'd have that extra reach. But I could use this just as I'll be fine at 16 millimeter. So, so that kind of makes me think, okay, so this is like almost like two lenses in one if you compare it to this 20 to 40 limited. So, something to think about there. Any questions so far about this? Covered it a little bit. As far as the construction of this thing is very solid. It's beefy. Look at that. Of course, it's got a metal back. It showed for $1,400. 77 millimeter filter thread. So compared to the 20 to 40, which has the 55 millimeter filter thread. Somebody asked about, I'll share a funny comment first. There was another Steve, not Stephen R. Let's see. Oh, I have that pulled up. Let me pull it up real quick so I could read it back to you, because he did a typo, and this is something I do. Stephen H. He's also subscribed to me. He said the star lens almost looks like it's been manufactured by Tampon. Very similar construction to their lens. So he obviously meant Tamron. So, but I thought that was pretty funny. But I'm pretty sure this is. I mean, this is just a remake of their other lens, even though there's that they previously did. So there's extra elements in there. I don't know. Maybe Tamron was involved in this because they supposedly were involved with the 15 to 30 and the 70 to 200 f2.8. So I'm not positive on that, but I don't know if you'll ever get a real answer on that. But yeah, that's the other cool thing I like about Pentax. They've got this built in. So if you put a polarizer on here, you could remove this little plate and move your polarizer filter around. Have you tried the new 16 on the? I have not tried it on the K1 Mark II yet. So I'll probably do that just to Do you want to see it in like a full frame mode? See if it covers what it covers. I can do that real quick. I think I have it over here. Yeah, let's do that. Get something new real quick. Hold on. Here's the K1, the trusty 24 DA Star FA old school lens, which pretty much stays locked on there. Let's check it out. We've got the K1 Mark II. And make sure I have it in full frame mode. And you know what? I haven't done the firmware on there. I'm going to go over that in a minute. I did the firmware upgrade so it would see the lens. So I went to do this before. Let me change this up. All right. Okay. So this is at 16 millimeters. Take a picture of my. I'll take a picture. So you can see that's full frame mode. Can you see that? Let me put it back on the screen here. Let me get rid of all that info garbage here, so you can actually see the picture. See that? So there's some vignetting on there, but a lot of times you have to take the hood off. So let's take the hood off and see what that what that does. Let me make sure I'm in full frame mode, just to make sure. On DG full frame. I am in full frame mode. So yeah, and so it looks a little bit more circular with the hood off. So the hood actually made it not as circular or whatever. All right, let's do it at 50. Check that out. Yeah, you're going to get vignetting all over the place. Sorry. Yeah, so that's at 50 as well. So you can't shoot this in full frame mode on the K1 Mark II or Mark 1 as well. But it did focus and everything. Let me look at the info. All the info pulled up. I guess it's just pulling that EXIF data in there, so you can check that out. But the colors looked fine and everything. I mean, it looked good. Let me put a lens back in this so I don't get dust all over it. But if you wanted to, I mean, obviously, if you wanted to use it, so you, somebody said on the last video, yeah, the upgrade is to get all the specifications from the lens into the camera, all the profiles and all that stuff. So if you, so it will read that all the data will be in the EXIF there. All right. I'm going to talk about video. I know it's video, but I've been experimenting around with this PLM. Get a sip real quick. With video, because a lot of people are like, okay, it's got 4K video now here on the K3 Mark III. They need the PLM that's a wide angle lens, because not very many people use the 55 to 300 for video. You know, you need a wide angle kind of standard lens that would have that. So the PLM is silent, and you could use it in video, continuous shooting. So I did a few tests with that. It was interesting because, I mean, if you watch Kobe's video, he was going through a lot of this stuff. Let me see if I have it. So, you know, up here on the K3 Mark III, you have your little dial here that has the, you know, standard still shots. Freezing up there a little bit, but live view, and then you have your movie mode. So in your live view, you could do face detect, which is fine, but you can't do it, you know, with the stills. It doesn't have that option in there that I've found. I've looked through the manual and stuff. So if anybody wants to correct me, leave a comment below. But when I switched it over to video, I thought since you could do it in live, it would also do it in, movie mode, but there's not an option in there. I looked through the manual and everything. What it does have, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, you could do continuous like it has there. But it doesn't have the option to actually do face detect. So I spent over an hour, like just shooting, trying this out, doing different things with the continuous, and it was working good, kind of. But I found that actually doing the touch screen like that, it would lock on a lot quicker. The continuous was a little bit slow. If I moved around fast like this, no way was it going to track me. It just wasn't doing a good job. I had it at f2.8 just to, you know, stress it out and see if it can actually do it. But it just wasn't doing a good job. Then after a while, I was shooting 4K video. I actually got the heat warning. So if you have this camera, the heat warning will come up on this side, and it'll be a little thermometer that pops up. And I was like, well, crap. So in case you're curious about how long a video I shot, I was shooting for a little bit over 45 minutes, and I shot probably 20. It wasn't continuous video, but it was like 20 90-second spots just because I was trying it out at trying different autofocus techniques and whatnot. And yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be using this for 4K video unless they do something to fix that. I had a Sony A6300, and everybody complained about that one at the time because it would overheat. But I shot with it like 20 minutes straight and didn't have it didn't overheat. But granted, I was outside and it was like 85 degrees outside. It's super humid here in East Tennessee, so anyway, so it does say in the manual if it gives you the warning, but if it does reach a certain temperature, the camera will just shut off. So I don't want to I don't want to try that out. So I just turned it off and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. So I did. I've been using for my 4K video. I'll just use my Osmo action camera. I'll use that, and then I also have the I think I mentioned this last time, the Olympus EM10 Mark III, and it works fine. And something that I didn't check out after I did the firmware, because when you upgrade the firmware to this, there's a list of stuff it fixes, but sometimes it will just say better camera performance. So I don't know if they fix this or not, but how long you could shoot with it before it just turns off. Like with the Osmo action camera, it will just make a new file. So you get to 4 gigs or whatever, and then we'll just make a new file. You can drop it on your timeline, it'll be fine. And I forgot to try that out after I upgraded the firmware. So they might put something in here to fix it, but I'll try that out. And maybe I'll let you know next Thursday if they actually fix that. Okay, enough about video. All right, what's going on? Find yourself a woman. And talk to a therapist. Thank you for the support. Okay. Yeah, I've been married for over 20 years, so I'm good. And I've got beer, so I'm good. Seems to be the sharpest. I've tried all of them. It just seems I hadn't found, like I said, I hadn't done any technical tests, but I've shot everything at f2.8 throughout the focal range, and normally it's at one end or the other, and I hadn't found that. It's a sharp lens. The colors are there. The contrast is there, and like I said, I will upload images. I can't do it. I've got a device better, so I can do the streaming stuff a little bit better coming. So. Sorry that I can't like share a screen and pull up some images, but I'm going to do some straight out camera images probably today or tomorrow and upload them to YouTube so you can see them. Also, I'll upload a couple to Flickr if you're on my Flickr page. I don't have those links down below, but I will after I'm done with this video, so you can check them out yourself and see what you think. And when I first come across a new lens like this, I always try to do them straight out of camera. Rarely do I edit anything. I just want to show you what exactly you're going to get. I don't like some of the other YouTubers that a lot of times they'll edit, and it's like I want to see what you're actually getting. I want to see the straight out of camera stuff. I want to see that. I don't really care about your editing. Everybody's editing is different, across the board. Some people do little edits, some people do more edits. So it's nice to just see them straight out of camera. At least that's the ones I like to do. So when I started doing Pentax, there wasn't a lot of Pentax YouTube videos. There wasn't a lot of YouTubers doing those. Just Ed from Photo Universe at the time, and so that's what I started doing. I'm like, well, what do I want to see? I'm looking for these lens reviews, and they're not out there. I want to see straight out of camera images that I could kind of look at and say, hey, that kind of looks good. But everybody has different kind of shooting style as well. So, if you've watched my channel, I do mostly like nature stuff, like, semi-wildlife. It's just the wildlife that I shoot is kind of just, if it comes along. Mostly I just do landscapes, take a hike, and just enjoy life and photography. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Any questions about comparison on these that you want me to do sometime soon? This is a lot, weighs a ton less, and like I said, this is one of my favorite lenses. It's like, but do I keep both of them? It's one of those things. Oh, Pentax SM, 15 millimeter lens. Any options? I just sold that to Vincent. Hope he's enjoying it. I've had that lens twice. I just it's a great lens. There's nothing wrong with it. It's small, and it's like if you have something like this and you want something for wider angle options, it's great to have in your bag, and you can put that lens in your pocket. I did keep my I think I covered this last time, but the Sigma 10 to 20, you just have a wider a range of options with it, even though it's a bigger lens. And you could probably get it a little cheaper. I think I bought this. A lot of people say the other one's better, but this is the cheaper of the two. This is the f4 to f5.6. There's an f3.5 to something, f4.5 or something. But this I found myself using this more, just because you have the option of going 10 to 20 instead of which is kind of goes against what I say most of the time, because most of the time I'm like, I like the primes better because they're sharper. So that 15 millimeter, I'm sure, is sharper than this, but this kind of serves my purpose, and I enjoy using it. It's not too heavy, and but like I was saying before, this one goes down to 16 millimeters. So it's pretty wide. So I mean, that's dead set in the center. When I brought the 20 to 40 out, I needed something a little bit wider, so I'd have to bring another lens. So that kind of covers both of them there. Let me see what else I got on here. Yeah, the Flickr is really good. That's what I've always used as well. I mean, they're edited, but some people will leave the EXIF data in there, so you can see what they've done in Lightroom or Photoshop. It actually tells you. So I'll leave the Flickr page, and like I said, will add a couple of straight out camera images with this K3 and the 16 to 50 later. It's not in there now, but I will. What was it saying? I did the heat. I did the firmware. I did the did the face detection. Let's see. Let's see here. How is the build of the 16 to 50? It's the typical build that you would expect out of a DA star lens. Very solid, and it's also beefy for that matter of fact. But I said earlier, I don't know if you saw it, but I took this out in the rain and it was fine, but no issues. I wouldn't expect any issues from Pentax as far as weather sealing, and it was fine. Hurricane Fred is coming up. It has come up straight through East Tennessee. A ton of rain recently, and I've taken it out and had the issue. E-mount, K-mount, Sony. So I'm guessing you're asking if there's a K to E mount for a Sony camera. And I saw something recently, like they're coming out with, somebody had a Kickstarter thing or something, and they were coming out with a autofocus thing. But it's going to be weird though, because I mean, we'll see when it comes out on how many different. I mean, is it going to work with PLM? Is it going to work with silent deadly motor? I mean, is it going to work with all of them? I guess we'll see when it comes out. It'll be interesting to see. I don't like that's the one thing I do love about Pentax is just the that's why I kind of got started. You could go back all the way, forever and find K-mount lenses that will work on your camera. And people say, yeah, you can do that with Nikon too. It doesn't work as well, and it actually works better with this K3 Mark III. You can shoot in AV mode now, where previously you had to use manual mode almost exclusively to shoot with those old manual lenses. So you get the confirmation beep, and with Sony, or not Sony, with Canon and all those, you wouldn't get that confirmation beep unless you bought an adapter and all this other. If you were trying to adapt something, it just Pentax with the K1000 back in the day with all those lenses from third party and all that. It just makes you able to find these old lenses. Hey, old lenses. Let's go over a couple here. Just see. Let me make sure here. I missed anybody. 9 months of Raymond. Actually, Raymond. That's my name. Actually, I'm actually the fourth. Raymond the fourth. Believe it or not, that's why I go by Lee. Thanks, Raymond. Let's see here. If you could only buy one lens, would you go for the 11 to 18 or keep the 20 to 40? Or would you just use the 16 to 50? That's a hard question. I hadn't used 11 to 18, so I don't think I'd go with that. I would use something like this, and it depends on your budget too. I mean, this you could step back. You can't always step back or step forward, but just for the price, at $500, this is just killer lens. I can't think of another lens for $500 that is even close to this in comparison of just awesomeness. All right, let's see here. Photographing with the LX, worth the cost of film for the quality of the 35 millimeter. I hadn't shot with film in a while, just to be honest. Digital cameras are so good now. It's just, if you like that semi-grainy kind of stuff, go for it. It's a fun hobby. When I would shoot with it occasionally, it's really fun. But when I sell an old camera, grab something that's not, just a Nikon. But if I sell an old camera, this camera is worth $15. That's it. Which says, yeah, everybody's, and they've been actually picking up. People have been buying these. So if you buy one of these for $15, the batteries cost $15. The film, depending where you buy it and what kind of film you want, you'll be spending close to $10 a roll. Depends. And then you send it out to get developed. That could cost up to $20 just for this $15 camera. I think a lot of people are buying these wanting to get into that film, but then when they see the cost of it, they shoot a couple rolls of film and then they're done. That's my opinion. But there's older people that still love it and still go with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's super costly now. They used to have those. Remember those old those old stands like out in the middle of the mall, and it was like 1 hour photo. You could just come by and drop off a roll of film, and it was like $3 to get the roll of film processed. It was pretty crazy like that. So, yeah, if you love shooting with film, go ahead. I need to get out there and shoot with film again. It's been probably 2 years, maybe 3 years since I shot a roll of film. But a lot of people ask, if I'm selling one of these cheap ass cameras, did you send some film through it? And I'm like, no. If you want to send me $30, I'll shoot a roll of film and I'll let you know how it comes out. I know it works. I offer free returns if or whatever, if it's broken. So can I, in my own words, can I sum up the KP and ranks of Pentaxes? It all depends. KP, I did a video KP versus K70 because if you've watched my channel, a lot of my videos are with the K70. In my opinion, I like the K70 better. It's one of those things though. If somebody bought the KP, they're going to say, I own both of them. They'll oh, it's so much better. It's so much better. The image quality is minutely different. You have to like pixel peep on it. And nowadays, what are you doing with your photos? I mean, some people are, blowing them up into prints. That might, but probably not 90% or more are just putting them online or sharing them with friends. That little minute difference isn't going to be seen. I like the flippy screen on the K70, the KP, the ergonomics of it are not good. They've got 3 different grips with it. There's a bigger grip, but it's not very good. There's all the other Pentax cameras. Okay, yeah. It is actually the worst grip in Pentax history, I would say. It's not a good camera. They tried to make it small and it just didn't work out. They should have just made it slightly bigger and the grip would have been better. So that's my opinion on the KP. I got about 10 more minutes here. My mouth is getting parched. Cheers if you're just joining us. UK. How's it going? What are my top 3 lenses for the K3 Mark III? Definitely the 55 to 300. That's for the price. I put that at number 1. It depends what you're shooting at. And it depends what you like. I mean, if you like lenses or what, I'll show you what I've got currently. I think I was going to do this next week, but this one will be another one. It depends your budget. The 20 to 40 limited is just outstanding. And then you've got to go with a wide angle. I mean, if you want to cover that whole thing there with the K3 Mark III, 10 to 20 Sigma or the 15 millimeter. If you're looking for something compact, is an excellent choice as well. This is a little bit cheaper. So yeah, I'll go over that probably next week or the week after that. So. Okay. All right. Let me go over some older lenses that I got in the mail. If you've watched my channel, I do buying and selling of old lenses. So I bought a couple, and I want to show you some old M42 mounts that might interest you, that you might not have heard of, or maybe you have. Everybody's heard of the Helios or whatever. That's the one that everybody's heard of. And this is one that's kind of similar. Didn't have quite the mysterious bokeh, but it is an excellent lens. M42 mount. And I've had several of these, but usually the close, I don't know, I haven't looked at this one, but the close focusing distance is great, and the bokeh is outstanding, and the sharpness is really good. P3 or P-Tri. This is a 55 millimeter f1.8. If you hadn't tried one of these lenses, try them out. You won't be upset about this. This one says it's made in Japan, but I've gotten a lot of them that were made that came out of Germany. So I don't know if they were made in Germany, but they were just kind of. It seemed like they were. I guess I could have looked this up and figured it out, but it seemed like they were in Germany, like kind of the Sears Germany or whatever it was at that time. But check that out, P3 or P3, whatever it's called. And here's some more I got in. I'll be selling these, but so I'll leave a link to my eBay store before if you like M42 mounts. This one, yeah, this one the aperture is seized up on. Oh no, it's working. I thought it wasn't. See that? Canera, I've gotten a lot of these in. I think these come in different mounts, but they seem like really solid lenses. I need to grab an adapter and put them on mine. I like using mirrorless if I'm going to use an adapter more than putting that small adapter on the camera on the digital Pentax. So I'll probably try these out more on my Olympus camera instead. But these are really seem like really good quality built lenses. This was this one. This one's the 35 f2.8. That's what that one is. So, all right, enough with that. Yeah, I mean, it's not my collection. I sell these on eBay. What you got up here is these are all adapted for Fuji system right here. So there's about 50 lenses up there, which I'm selling. And up there on the other side, those are for the new Canon EOS R mount. So they come with an adapter and all that jazz. But below that is all stuff that is not adapted. So yeah, I got that same question from Vincent there, CWL. Would anybody own the 20 to 40 f2.8 to f4 if they already had the 16 to 50? Or if they have this one, 16 to 50. And the answer is, well, I do. I'm still deciding, you know, I can't come, I will not sell this 20 to 40. I don't think, no. I mean, this is my favorite lens of all times, but will I use it less? Yes, I will use it less because, yeah, I don't see myself. So I sold this a long time ago, and I bought it again. And this is the lens of lenses. So, you know, let me talk about this. Would be good. Yeah. Okay. It's like, okay. So the 16 to 50 millimeter f2.8. If you are shooting weddings, this is a must. I don't shoot weddings, but if I did shoot weddings, I shot weddings years ago. This would be a lens I would have to get because it has a silent focusing motor and it's got f2.8 throughout the focal range, so you can get some low light images. And if you have something like the K-3 Mark III, which is ISO performance is amazing, this would be an excellent setup. You get this and you get something like a longer lens with, you know, like f2.8, like the what is 7200 f2.8, or the actually, yeah, you know what? I hadn't used this lens in a long time. The you get this lens and the 50 to 135 f2.8 DA star lens. Oh, that would be a nice setup for a wedding, wouldn't it? And something I do not know too much about. I know Kobe's used some different flash options. But I like how the cameras are getting better and better with the ISO performance. That I feel like I don't need a flash, but you might need a flash just to, you know, get that better lighting across the face or whatnot. I haven't tried very many flashes with my Pentax items. I know just enough flash stuff to be dangerous, but I really have not dived into using lenses or flashes on the Pentax system. All right, I'll give it another 3 minutes. Weddings done and dusted. Mate. Adapted the dad's to 51.4 to mirrorless. Yeah. That's what a lot of people do. About the adapter, one type versus another type. Something about the pin. With M42 mounts, they're kind of different. I mean, some of the adapters won't touch this pin right here, but like this lens doesn't have it. They'll have a little thing right here. You can switch it from auto to manual. So if you switch it to manual, it doesn't matter if this pin is pushed in, and you can move it back and forth, and that adapter will change. But like with this one, you see here, I can move the aperture or whatever, and it's not changing until I press that pin. Sometimes you don't have to touch that pin if you've got that little extra arm there. So if you're looking to get a bunch of those and it's not working for your adapted, whatever adapter you have, you might want to look at finding a better adapter, or find one with, or you know what you can actually do, you probably find a way to press that down and just leave it down. I don't know. Had the 20 to 40 limit on my K-3 like 7 years ago since it came out. It's cool, yeah. And it's great. Duck fan, thanks for all the videos. Well, thanks for watching. 2040 is a great walk around lens. I can't agree more. That's why I always recommend it to people. And that's what I do. I walk every morning, and I usually have a lens on my camera, and a lot of times it's this, but it depends, you know. I'll have this, or you know, if I'm expecting wildlife to be out, I'll put the 55 to 300 on there. But a lot of times I just use one lens. So, how often do you clean your sensor? Do I use Pentax sensor sticks? Guess how many times I've cleaned a Pentax sensor? None. Now on my K70, I could tell it needed to be cleaned, but I didn't clean it. I've cleaned my Canon sensor a couple of times when I had it. I still have the cleaning kit that I used. And don't be afraid to clean a sensor. I cleaned, what was it, this 60D and the 5D Mark III. I think I cleaned the sensor in there because I was seeing, you know, when you take a picture, you know, high at like F11 or whatever in the sky, and you'll see little artifacts in there. There's plenty of how to clean your sensor videos on YouTube, but I typically don't clean them unless I need to. I need to clean my K70, but I didn't. And you know, I walk around. I mean, I change out these lenses all the time, and I don't have a problem with it. Some people freak out if I take it, you know, take out and do something like that. I don't have a problem with that. It's just don't go. You know, if you've seen those videos, here's how to clean a sensor, and they put it in the sink and they're like washing it out with soap. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll be here next Thursday as well. So appreciate all your comments and everybody tuning in. I'll refresh this video and leave some links in the bottom below for all the for everything I was talking about earlier. So if you're interested in that, just stay tuned back. And yes, cheers everybody. Have a good night.